And John laid down the challenge and said, it's on me to make it happen. And I accept that challenge.
What's up, everyone? Shakiel Mahjouri here for CBS Sports, and you know who this is. He is the TNA World Champion. I think he's about to prove it to me. And he's even saved me the effort of having to say his name right there in full frame. Joe Hendry, how are you, sir?
Say his name and he appears. I'm doing well, thank you.
Thank you so much for doing this today. Man, I was in the press box for the Royal Rumble in Indianapolis, and I gotta say, beautiful sightline. Very grateful for the accommodations, but it's pretty soundproof in there, and I'm really glad we had the TV screen on to really capture the reaction that you had when you made your entrance in the Rumble. You're online quite a bit. I mean, we've seen how successful you have been in sort of marketing yourself to that community, and I know how grateful you are for those fans, but I imagine it must be different when you step out there and you actually see and hear approximately 70,000 fans cheering, clapping, singing. How validating was that experience when you first stepped onto the stage?
It's an unfathomable amount of people. It's almost impossible to fully take it in. There were moments where, there's a moment where I was just lying down in the ring, looking out, trying my best um, to really put into perspective what is going on in that moment, and it's just impossible to do so. The advice I got was enjoy every second because it'll be over before you know it, and it was. I was in and out, but it was wow, what a rush. It was an unbelievable experience, and I'm extremely grateful to my fan base, the professional wrestling fan base, for the reception that they gave me. Ultimately, they're putting me in this position, so very grateful to the fans for that response.
I distinctly remember AJ Styles speaking about how, he wasn't sure if he was going to walk out there and it'd be nothing but crickets. Naturally, you've had some experiences in the WWE courtesy of your run in NXT and that relationship. What were your expectations going into it, and how did it measure up to the actual result once you got there?
I had no expectations. I thought it would be a good reaction, but I couldn't have planned for that. I was very pleasantly surprised when I saw the number of people that reacted for me being there. Apologies, I've got my dog wants to join the interview
Can we
here,
please
so we're
can we
just gonna
please see the dog?
come up, boy.
It,
Wait, let
this
me
is a
just get his
family-friendly
bed.
environment.
Let me just. All right, come on, boy.
Shout out to the Dark Knight poster, by the way. And wow, what good
Nice.
taste in movies you have.
It's just the typical, stereotypical guys posters, isn't it? Right? Come on, boy. In you come. This way. This way. No, no. Come on. In you get. Up you go. Up you go, boy. Sorry.
What's his name?
He's called Gromit. Gromit, up you
All
come,
right,
boy.
let's see if we
No,
say
he's not
Gromit's
want to do
name.
it.
And
No,
he does not
he's
appear. All right.
no. I think he's wanting fed or something, which I'll get to as soon as I'm done with this.
We will try not to keep Gromit hungry for too long. All right, hardball question here. If Joe Hendry appears when you say his name, what must you do to see John Cena?
John Cena made it clear to me in the coolest way possible. He laid down the challenge that um, it's on my shoulders to make the matchup happen. Obviously, I wanted to make sure that he knew that I was doing this with great respect. I was calling him out with great respect, and it's with urgency because we don't have a lot of time left. That is the
Mm-hmm.
matchup that I'm looking for. That is a huge goal for me this year and in my career. John Cena was the first wrestler I ever spoke to when I was 15 years old. So the matchup means a lot to me. And John laid down the challenge and said, it's on me to make it happen. And I accept that challenge. I need to rise to the occasion to make that one of the most compelling matchups in professional wrestling. But John said if I'm able to generate the buzz to the point where the parties that want that match to happen, he'll be there for it.
So
But
I
it's
was
very
watching,
much on me.
and I saw the interview that you did with Ariel, and I understand this is sort of a intangible prerequisite, but as best as you can, what does undeniable look like? What does compelling look like? What do we actually need to see done on Joe Hendry's behalf to get John Cena versus Joe Hendry?
Well, I believe that I was given the wonderful opportunity of being in the Royal Rumble because it was great for the fans, and it was great for TNA, and I hopefully I contributed something to WWE as well in the process. And I think the same logic needs to be applied to the John Cena matchup. If I can generate enough buzz where I can contribute, then it's a possibility, but it's very much on me. I don't, to be clear, just like the Rumble, I've been talking about the Rumble for people have been asking me about the Rumble for over a year before it happened. I did not know until shortly before, but I planned as if it was going to happen. I am playing to win, and you have to in this game.
I don't want you to give away your cards too much, but would you be willing to share an example of how we go about actually creating that buzz for the Cena match?
I'm doing it every day. I'm talking about it every time that I do any interview. I'm putting. Sorry.
Here we are doing it right now.
All right. Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure what you were reading there. But yeah, I'm doing it right now. I'm talking about it. And you put it out there, and is it something that fans are going to be excited about? Sometimes it's the things that you think fans will be excited about. Sometimes it's other things that you didn't expect. Like, I didn't expect to come out the Rumble and people want to see me versus Sheamus. But here we are. People are excited for that matchup. So, I will throw that out there as well, because there's a lot of exciting things that I would like to do this year in representing TNA as champion. But I trust my gut, because that is all you have in this game. And trusting my gut has got me to an incredible place right now. So I'm trusting my gut that going for this John Cena match is the right thing to do.
You talked to Ariel about how, sometimes you need to put yourself out there and maybe push the boundaries a little bit. Mm-hmm. Is this an example of a situation where, like you mentioned, John has about 11 months left in his career. We need to go all out, do whatever it takes, put 110% into making this match happen?
I don't think I've done anything too crazy yet, to be honest. All I'm doing is just politely mentioning it. But the publicity stunts may get they may get more interesting as it goes on. I mean, I was willing to get a billboard and put it right outside of a WWE, a very prominent WWE show in Glasgow. So that's an example of the things that I might be willing to do, all in good fun, all with great respect, but with courage also. And understanding that sometimes I might overstep the line, but that's I'm willing to take that risk, because I think it's the right thing to do.
Last thing on John Cena, you mentioned now and in previous interviews with Chris Van Vliet, etc., about how John took those 10 minutes during a signing to have a phone call with you when you couldn't make the meet and greet. What would that 15-year-old say to you now, knowing that one day he'd be in the same match as John Cena, sitting down, having a conversation with John Cena, and having that challenge to make a match between them a reality?
In a strange way, it was a similar situation. He gave me time when he didn't need to when I was 15, and he gave me time when he didn't need to at the weekend, So it was a very full circle moment for me. But honestly, I think that 15-year-old would be blown away and incredibly proud, because that 15-year-old didn't really think that he was capable of much. And I guess I've proved to him that we are going to achieve something.
And I think I remember you telling Ariel about how disappointed your father was when, he pushed you to go for your black belt in judo, and you thought, that's not the kind of thing that I'm cut out to be. Do you remember when the switch flicked? Like, when did Joe Hendry start believing in himself?
It was when I got the black belt. It was the day I got the black belt. I
Mm,
just didn't think that, in judo, there's multiple ways you can get your black belt, but I got it via lineup, which is when you have to win 2 out of 3 fights, and then you have to beat 3 guys in a row with no break or water. So it's very grueling, depending on the level of competition that you get. And really, I was just on my last ounce of energy in that last match of the lineup, and it was just a switch. I had the guy down in a hold, and when the referee's hand went down to signify that the match was over, I almost didn't believe it because 1 second before that happened, I didn't have a black belt, and the second after, I did. So it was proof to me that if you do put in the work, that great things can happen and your life can change in an instant. And from that moment on, I was like, well, I guess my dad was right. I guess I can do these things, you know?
I remember when I was in high school creating little video compilations of my dream TNA versus WWE matchups. And we've seen it with Mickey James and Jordan Grace in the past, but it's still sort of surreal for me to see Joe Hendry walking out to the Rumble with the TNA world title. TNA mentions from the commentators, from Pat McAfee, Wade Barrett, Michael Cole, with the rich history that TNA has, how does it feel to be able to carry that title so proudly into the WWE?
It meant a huge amount. I remember watching AJ Styles come from TNA Wrestling,
Mm.
and entering in the Royal Rumble, and just thinking, whoa, what a way to make an impact, pun intended, if you will. And it just feeling like it would be such a ridiculous notion to think that I would one day do the same thing, but to do it representing TNA Wrestling as well, it's just so perfect how things unfold sometimes. I'm just so delighted to represent TNA. They've given me such a platform. We've got some really ambitious shows this year, and I'm thankful to WWE for allowing us to have this partnership because I think it's so great for everybody and it's so great for the fans as well. There's so much buzz right now, and WWE's product is awesome, TNA's product is awesome, and I'm just so excited to be the champion going into these really ambitious arena shows for TNA wrestling with full confidence. It's a great time to be in the business. It's a great time to be in TNA. It's a great time to be for those who are in WWE as well. It's a great time for the business.
I came across this video on my Instagram feed yesterday that I want to show you. I can't bring it too close because of the focus. It might need to lean in a little bit, and I'll put it on the screen later for the viewers to
Okay.
watch. But walk me. I don't know if you've seen this or not, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen this.
Bro, how does that feel?
Yeah, it's very it's surreal and it's special, to be able to give people those moments because that's what this business is about. Life is really hard. We are in we're in really tough times right now. Life is difficult, and you realize the service that you're providing as a pro wrestler is to give people some fun after after a hard week, and to be able to just give people that sort of reaction, especially with their families, it's an honor, it's a privilege, and that's something that will always be special. And those moments are what this game is really about. So to see that, it's so rewarding to see that. It's so rewarding.
Great, a rhythm by the dad there, timed it perfectly as well. What was the internal reaction on the TNA end after your Royal Rumble appearance?
I haven't seen them yet. I haven't seen them yet. I literally, I just had we were doing stuff at WrestleCon, then I had the Royal Rumble, and I've just got back to the UK now. I flew back today. I had I napped for a few hours, took the dog out, and here we are. So I haven't had the chance to embrace the locker room or management in person, but I think that, those people that I have spoken to are very excited for me, and they're very excited for the spotlight that it gives TNA. And I think I saw something that Matt Hardy said earlier. Like, I'm always very grateful to the Hardys for the things that they say about me, and the support that they give me. So to hear, that Matt thought it was a great piece of business, and to hear nice things from Mark Henry and the Busted Open guys, and just I've had people that I haven't spoken to in years, people who I went to school with, who have messaged me. So it's like this moment was really special.
What was the feedback you got from the WWE about how the Rumble went?
What specifically would you like to know?
I guess
Because I'll tell you this, the feedback is the fans. So that's, if ultimately when we go out there, our job is to get reactions. So for me, I'm so grateful to have been given that opportunity. And I really had the sense that, TNA and WWE did not have to do this. Any of them could have said no at any point. And I'm just very grateful, because I think both parties knew that they were really giving me a special moment there. And I'm grateful for that, because they didn't have to do that. So I have a real sense of gratitude to TNA management, WWE management, both rosters. I was welcomed with open arms. I got great advice from the biggest names in the business as well, and I had very warm reception. So yeah, it was a great moment. It was a really special moment in my life. I've been working very hard for a long period of time, and it was just one of those moments that was special, is the word.
We saw Jordan Grace appear in the 2024 Rumble as the knockout champion, 2025 as a new signee. Could we possibly see Joe Hendry follow suit by 2026?
Please be specific with your question.
Of course. Do you anticipate that when your TNA run runs out, whenever that is, that the WWE is the next destination?
My job is to be the TNA World Champion, and my job is to represent TNA, to elevate this championship and to elevate the company. So my focus is on TNA wrestling.
Fair enough. One thing more broadly that I've noticed with the WWE is relative to, I guess, sort of like the 2010s, when they seem to really be focusing on developing their own stars from a young age. We're seeing a bigger influx of more experienced independent wrestlers and wrestlers from other promotions like TNA, like AEW. Penta just debuted. He's 39 years old. You are 36. Not in your 40s, Ariel Helwani. Please don't try and diminish Joe Hendry here.
I know. That was rough, man.
What do you think? Come on. This nice head of hair. What are you talking about, Ariel?
I know.
What would you say is a pro wrestler's prime? Because I know in the MMA, we often kind of talk about that 28 to 32 range. I feel like for a pro wrestler, it is sort of closer to that 35 to 40 range.
I would disagree personally. I think the experience outweighs youth, to be honest with you. Yeah. In terms of match quality, like, I'm 10 times the wrestler I was a year ago, and 20 times the wrestler I was the year before that, or 100 times the wrestler I was the year before that. I get better every month that I do this. The match I had with Nick Nemeth at Genesis was vastly superior to the match that I had with him at Bound for Glory. The performance I had at the Royal Rumble was vastly superior to the last performance I had in a multi-man matchup. I get better all the time. So for me, my experience is outweighing any concerns about youth, and my knowledge about nutrition and weightlifting and sports. My increased knowledge is outweighing any concerns about age, and I feel great. So I think it's hard for me to say my prime. I am not in my prime yet, not yet.
I look forward to seeing it then. Last time you and I spoke, we talked about trusting your intuition, but I am curious, what empowers Joe Hendry to set his sights so unfathomably high? Because some of the things you say you're going to do would sound absurd to the average wrestler, the average fan, but here we are making them a reality.
Yeah, well, fortunately for me, I seem to have delivered on everything that I said I was going to deliver on. Literally everything. I walked into to my students on it was after the last Rumble when Jordan appeared, and I said to them, "Mark my words, I'll be in that next Rumble." And I was. I told people I was going to win this championship, and I did. I've delivered and executed on every single thing that I said I was going to. So there's a guy called Tim Grover who was Michael Jordan's coach, and he was really his guidance on mindset. And he says your goals better scare you. They better be so big that they scare you. They have to be something that no one else has done before. It has to be scary and scare you on a daily basis. And that's just what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to do my best. I'm just a normal guy giving it my best and just trying to get this done. And I think people identify with that. I don't claim to, and I didn't come into sports or academics with any, abundance of talent. I've had to work really hard to become talented. So I think people can identify with that. Everything I've done in my life, whether it was learning songwriting, competing, professional wrestling, marketing myself, I started off being terrible at it and just worked very hard. Very there it didn't really feel like much came naturally to me at a high level. So some things have, but I think for the most part I've had to work very, very hard to get myself to this point. I think people can identify with that. Set yourself crazy goals and go, God, this is going to be quite the climb, and then actually commit to it. That I think people are inspired by that, and they enjoy that because, I'm just look, some people can see it as arrogance, but I'm just very willing to put in the work and make the tough sacrifices over a very long period of time.
What are you most excited about for your TNA run this year?
I think what I want to do, what I always aim to do, is to elevate where I am and those around me. And so I feel like TNA really elevated me and gave me the development I needed to be the professional wrestler I knew I could be. And now it's my turn to return the favor and to elevate this championship, which is already a hugely prestigious championship, but to add something to it. Also, just to keep building those crowds. Let's get bigger and bigger. Let's keep growing. Like the new Sportsnet deal we've got in Canada as well. I want to generate business for TNA and contribute so other people can get the development that I got. It's such an important company in professional wrestling.
Last question. You can keep this brief. If Joe Hendry was the most improved pro wrestler in 2024, what will he be in 2025?
Hopefully the most improved wrestler. That's it. That's all this game is. That's all this game is. If you keep shooting for being the most improved wrestler, that's it. It's as simple as that. So that's my hope for 2025. Most improved. Again.
Joe, we had a very awkward outro the last time that we did this, so we're going to give it another shot.
What happened?
I think there was just a I was doing my outro asking the fans a question, then you answered the question, and then you're like, anything is better than that. So I'm going to give us a chance at a redo here.
Okay.
Guys, thanks so much for watching the video. Please subscribe, tap the bell, thumbs up. Let us know 3 matches that you'd like to see most from Joe Hendry in 2025. Joe, if there's anything you would like to tell your fans, I'll let you have the last word, my friend.
I'd just like to say thank you. None of this happens without the support of the fans. It was the support of the fans, the reaction of fans that is putting me in this position. I'm grateful for it. I will do my best and never take it for granted. Thank you.